express yourself on Twitter, but only a few will hear it. Whoever said that? Are you in that articulate minority circle? Senior journalist Abka Fitz Henley is not. He is an active tweeter, and he is here to tell us more and talk to us a little bit more about that discussion, especially as this movement evolves. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Smile.
Good morning, dear ladies.
Good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to say first up that senior journalist is just according to the amount of years and the title, it's nothing about my age, right?
Oh, so you're not senior.
No.
It's his experience,
If
not
you're
his
talking
age.
about
What?
yeah, so the senior journalist now would be...
I will bring Abka around here, though, Jesus.
The senior journalist now would be like, when you're talking about age, you're talking about Bertis.
Okay. No, that we won't argue with you about. And that's very articulate.
The hashtag. Let's get straight to it. The
Are you
hashtag
surprised
articulate minority.
about how this has grown and how it took wings. I remember when Pickersgill made the statement, the day after, I was shocked at how many people, like the corn that it rubbed and the kind of movement that it sparked on Twitter. Now the hashtag is alive and well. Are you surprised at all at the life this has taken on?
No, I'm not, but I think perhaps Mr. Pickersgill may well be surprised, because at the end of the day, he made the comments in the context of the whole Outermany controversy, right? And there were members of the governing party, Angela Brown Burke, Venetia Phillips, etc., saying that the administration handled it in a bad way, and there was pressure on the administration regarding the use of the NHT funds to fund this business, essentially buyout. And Bobby Pickersgill commented that, look here, this is a 9-day wonder, and that's basically the articulate minority, in a sarcastic way or sardonic, if you may say, downplaying the influence of those on social media. But when you take it in the context that in the world that we exist today, on Facebook, for example, the first quarter this year, the latest study showed almost 1.4 billion persons on social media.
Incredible.
That's a global statistic.
204 million on Twitter.
No, yeah, but in Jamaica, though, how many would you say are on Twitter? Because, I mean, that's a global statistic. What would be the Jamaican?
I'm not aware of any specific statistics, but you know, as far as the world goes, Jamaica never quite far behind. So while we live in an age where traditional media is not dead, but some would say it's perhaps dying, what's undeniable is that social media is on the rise. So while Pickersgill made his comment, I jab at those on social media, suggesting, you know, articulate minority, just sit at your home and on a computer and shoot off your mouth, basically, about issues, and not really significant. I think, I'm not surprised, he may well be surprised how it has gathered life today, and some may say it may come back to haunt him in a few months' time.
I must ask you, is it not, well, let's just quickly into Twitter. He said that no ordinary Jamaican is on Twitter. But let me ask you, is it a spoof? Who is this? There's a Bobby Pickersgill on
there are many parody
Twitter.
accounts. There's a Fenton Ferguson on Twitter, also not
They're
the
parodies,
real
right? They're not them.
Oh, yeah.
But it's quite humorous.
They're parody
and with that
accounts.
said, it also sparks a lot of social commentary, political commentary, when you look at whoever it is doing it, that is sparking a lot of conversation. But when it comes to now, David Cameron coming here and the special alleged gift, or the pronounced gift of this prison, a lot of people have been talking about it, but only 20 articulate minority turned out. So is it really just a small group that are protesting? Or when you scan social media, is this a heavy topic on social media with the articulate minority?
It's a heavy topic on social media, as far as, for example, when Cameron was presenting in Parliament, I believe it was a Tuesday, yeah, and it's a work day. Many persons are at work at approximately near 10 o'clock in the morning, so that may have accounted for the few numbers who actually went on the street. I don't think we should take the fact that, you know, only 20 persons went to demonstrate and say, look here, we're demanding an apology from David Cameron. We shouldn't take that to say, look here, the power of those who they refer to as the articulate minority is diminished.
I think it's important for us to distinguish that although it might be in the minority, this is quite an influential group. Very active, very vocal about what they want for their country. May have been 30, 30 or 40 people, I think the organizer said, when I heard on the radio. And it may be 30,000 people on Twitter, but those voices, Abka, are rising up. And you see politicians responding to some of the points that they're making. Is it that we are underestimating, or they are underestimating the power of those voices, albeit in the minority?
I wouldn't say they, perhaps a Bobby Pickersgill who perhaps unaware of the power of social media, but if he wants to know the influence of social media and how dynamic it is and has become, he can easily have a conversation with his colleagues in Parliament, for example, Julian Robinson, Damian Crawford, Dayton Campbell, and Andrew Holness. And, you know, they appreciate the power of social media, Lisa Hanna, and that's why they are there. Yeah.
Let me ask you, as a journalist, when you're gathering a story and when you're doing your own background and research, do you not first scan social media for information? Or is that you still all running out in the field like, you know, like how do you scan for
I don't
your
do that
story?
first, but it's part of the day's activities. Yeah, you get calls, you get tips like the normal, traditional way. But part of the day, for example, one strategy, one technique before the newscast, and also before, sometimes I Google Jamaica to see if there's anything being said about us in the world. Part of the regimen now is that you scan social media to see what is perhaps going viral, because social media has become a part not just of our political space but our social space.
Absolutely, and it's where a lot of news stories are broken, even before they're broken on mainstream media.
Not only that, there's a lot of soul, and it's a space where people cry, because just, you know, we're talking about Heroes Day today, and we're talking about the Morant Bay Rebellion, and you're hashtagging that 150 years later, Morant Bay Rebellion. You could see a lot of people were very upset. When I'm saying upset, passionate about celebrating, but also upset that we're not doing enough. You can see the stories, even when it's Marcus Garvey time, you know, all of these birthdays and celebrations, we're not doing enough to live the legacy of our heroes. So we're telling a lot of stories on that. But as it's Heroes Day, what do you see social media saying with our national heroes over the past, you know, few years?
Well, you know, a nice gauge of that is how the public, in significant portion, on social media reacted to David Cameron's visit. I believe perhaps we underestimated how conscious and socially and historically aware many Jamaicans are. So, for example, I tweet that I felt Cameron insulted not just Jamaicans but African peoples around the world. And that got a whole lot of retweets. Perhaps the most I've gotten for quite a few of the tweets I've done sincere. And Simone knows, God knows, I tweet a lot.
Yes, you do tweet a lot. He's a tweeter.
So I think we underestimate that. But our next point is that this whole business of articulate minority, said in a sarcastic way to play down the impact of the fora, it's very impactful. And if you want to assess that, you basically can, you know, use social media as a temperature, as a gauge to assess what the people are thinking and the mindset of the nation. I'll tell you something. For example, I covered cartel trial and my followers spiked. Yeah.
So
that told me a story about what interests the nation.
Yeah.
So for example, I tweet something about news and the economy, 1 or 2 retweets. I tweet something about Vibes Cartel, over 100.
Which
or Bolt,
I was going to say, that doesn't necessarily mean positive or negative. It just means that that's supposed to the people, what they want to hear.
Exactly, and that's where the debate is centered. And we can debate this forevermore, but if Londia bring our whistle one more time and drop off.
Floor manager!
Keep on tweeting, Abka. Keep on breaking
I'm going to make sure that I start retweeting your stories.
It's very eventful.
And start following you. I think I'm following you, but I'm going to start retweeting.
Thank you so much, ladies, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. A very articulate member of the articulate
And he's not old. He's senior, but not
senior
old.
journalist, but nothing to do with his age. Abka Fitz Henley. Up next.
Yes, we will highlight a few modern-day heroes with Dr. Donna Hope. Stay locked. This is Heroes Day, and this is the greatest morning show in the entire universe.
Not even when Neville not there in Ghana.